Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So we have some massive leaks right now, and my goodness. Okay, all right, I will say right now, this is not the actual image of the card. I will show the image of the card at the end of the episode, but I did take, all the information from that card, used an amazing website, mtg.design, to make my own custom version of it, just so it's easier to read for everyone out there, so everyone's not like squinting and being like, hey, is that what that says? Regardless, massive leaks, and again, when it comes to leaks, well, take everything I say with a grain of salt. Take the leaks with a grain of salt because they might not be real. That being said, if I had to say, percentage-wise, if they're real, 99.9999999. It's been a long time since we've gotten like a fake leak that actually looked incredibly legitimate, so here we go. Captain America First Avenger. From, obviously, the Marvel, thing coming up or whatever. I'm sure there's going to be multiple Marvel products coming up at some point. Regardless, a 4/4 human soldier hero for 3 mana in Jeskai. Pay 3, unattached equipment from Captain America. He deals damage equal to that equipment's mana value. Divide as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 targets. Beginning of combat on your turn, attach up to 1 target equipment you control to Captain America. This is a very, very spicy commander, and I will mention, too, I didn't, because I was, I'm trying to get these out quickly, okay? Quite busy right now trying to make it work, and I didn't get, the, italicized, words beforehand, so, it's throw and catch, I think, are the 2 names of these abilities, but, yeah, the names really don't, have any impact at all. Regardless, that does just show how flavorful this commander is. Again, obviously, Captain America, just chucking shield, catching shield, chucking shield, catching shield. That is kind of what Captain America does, except for being, just beefy and punching things. But yes, being able to just take an equipment from Captain America, remove it, and all of a sudden just throw it at something, or I should say, 1, 2, or 3 things, because, it kind of like with Captain America, bounces off a couple different enemies and hits them. And yeah, you can take out multiple things, maybe even multiple players late in the game as well, once you're set up properly. You can do some really big, spicy plays with this. Obviously, the bigger that equipment's mana value, the better when it comes to the damage. And if it comes to the bigger, the better, yeah, you're also okay with big equip costs too, because again, on your combat, you get to attach up to 1 target equipment you control to Captain America. So being able to do that, that can very much help you. It can help you a lot being able to save on equip costs, being able to attach some giant things, and then just pay 3 mana to burninate some things to the ground, maybe having some damage doublers, other ways to take advantage of that damage as well. We'll talk about those here in a little bit. But yeah, I want to deep dive on this commander and talk about what cards you should be considering because, again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. That being said, you can always ask your play group ahead of time and be like, hey, everyone, here's a leak, okay? Are you okay if I literally take this card and, maybe print it out and then play with it as a commander and build a deck around it? And when the actual commander is revealed, and if it's real, great. If it's not real, can I still keep playing with this so that you're not investing money into a deck that doesn't exist anymore? But many playgroups out there are completely fine with proxies and also fine with, you doing these things ahead of time. You just have to ask. So if you're interested in this commander, interested in the cards I'm talking about, check out that card list link in the description below. With all that said, let's jump into all the cool ways that you can take advantage of this commander. First up, Basilisk Collar. Yeah, this was the very first card I thought about when I saw this one, because this is a slam dunk for many reasons for this commander. Artifact equipment for a single mana, equip 2, equip creatures, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Now, this is not going to be an equipment that you really care about, cheating on that equip cost. Equip 2 is not all that much. You also don't really want to chuck this one at, people as well, because it's just 1, so just 1 ping of damage. That being said, when this is attached to Captain America, this is huge. Death Touch and Lifelink, both incredibly relevant keywords for this commander because, again, Death Touch, this is just huge. Any kind of thing with Death Touch is going to be great with this commander. Being able to say, oh, okay, 1, 2, 3 targets, even if it's just 3 damage in total, again, splitting it 1 each, that is enough to take them all out because of that Death Touch. So, yeah, giving your commander Death Touch is massive with this. So you can easily take out, again, up to 3 creatures, essentially. And also, Lifelink, being able to gain a lot of life throughout the game with this, too, can be absolutely huge. Pad your life total to oblivion. Just, again, catching, throwing, equipment here, there, and everywhere. when you are taking out those creatures, when you are getting that much life, you can really pad things up. Next up, yeah, you also have, of course, access to some cards that are high on the mana value side that you're going to want to chuck at things, players, people, everything. Players, creatures. You talk about people too, I guess. They're just, like watching the game. You're like, I throw equipment at you. And they're like, what? Equipment for 6, +6/+6. Whenever creature attacks, destroy target permanent, equip 6. So again, this also has another benefit of beefing up your commander, which can become incredibly beefy incredibly quickly because, again, on your combats, you can attach things for free. So if you're not chucking things, you're still getting value. Again, it has value on the attack as well. We'll talk about other ways to take advantage of that attack trigger too. But yeah, at the very least, just unattach this and deal out 6 damage. Cauldron Complete, yet another card that is kind of right around budget numbers-ish, a little over $2. 7 mana, so again, even more damage to be had. Equipment, Living Weapon, Indestructible. Equipped creature has +5/+5, Burst Strike, Trample, Indestructible, Haste, and when this creature is combined to a creature, exile that creature, equip 7. So again, being able to utilize those big equipment that give you some big effects, that's amazing. And also, if you need to chuck it, you can chuck it. But yeah, just giving your commander all those other things that makes it, pretty unstoppable as well in combat. So do keep that in mind. Again, cheating for 7 equip is huge. Next up, speaking of cheating equipment cost, one that you absolutely should be considering, Pure Steel Paladin, a 2/2 Human Knight for just 2 mana. Whenever equipment enters the battlefield under control, you may draw a card. That is huge, being able to draw an absurd amount of cards, again, in an equipment-based strategy. But even bigger with this commander is Metalcraft. Equipment you control have equip 0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. Yeah, if you have, again, a good equipment deck where you've got a good amount of artifacts in play, with your equipment, or even just mana rocks, of course, because you're not in green, you are going to easily be able to attach everything here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, your commander can help you get 1 a turn, but this helps you get all of them. So again, you can just go, okay, yeah, pay 3, throw it, pay 3, throw it, pay 3, throw it, pay 3, throw it. Again and again and again to dish out an absurd amount of damage. Yeah, this is like kind of golden pig potential levels for this commander. Another one that is definitely up there as well. Arden, Intrepid Archaeologist, a 2/2 Core Scout for 3 mana. In white, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of auras and equipment you control to target permanent or player. Very similar, obviously, where you're just like, oh, okay, yeah. Take all my equipment, like all 6, 7, 8 of them, whatever I have, attach them all to my commander, and all of a sudden it is an unstoppable Voltron force that could probably take an opponent out with 1 shot, but also I can use it to demolish their board and demolish faces at a certain point as well by chucking those equipment. For Janu, a really good one as well. Enters the battlefield, return target equipment from your graveyard to the battlefield so it can bring something back that was taken out. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equip abilities anytime you could cast an instant. You can pay 0 rather than the equip cost for the first equip ability you activate during each of your turns. So again, this is a good recursion spell, and also a good, you can, play around with timing restrictions on your turn as well for attaching something. Like you have Lightning Greaves or something, you're like, okay, unattach, now reattach if someone's targeting. But also being able to just be like, oh yeah, I get to save again, so I'm saving on 2 things for my commander versus just 1. That can really help you out. Next up, Open the Armory. Yeah, an amazing tutor for an equipment-based strategy. Search up an aura, but yeah, probably not for this deck. An equipment card, reveal, put your hand, then shuffle. So yeah, being able to get any equipment out of your deck right in your hand can really set yourself up for the plays that you want to make. Speaking of making plays, Gratuitous Violence. Yeah, this kind of a card is amazing. Enchantment for 5 mana in red. If a creature you control deal damage to a permanent or player, deals double that damage to that permanent player instead. Note that does not say combat damage specifically. So again, this helps with your combat damage. This helps with your non-combat damage. Being able to just say, okay, commander, go swing. You probably have 11 power at a certain point. So now this is basically a one-shot KO for your commander, doubling up that damage and attacking. But also, of course, yeah, chucking your equipment, doubling up that damage. That is absolutely massive, absolutely huge. Speaking of huge, Colossus Hammer. I mean, this card is just huge, right? 1 mana for this card. So again, this isn't one that you're looking to chuck, and that's kind of where the balance of this deck is. Like, you're looking for ones that have a high equip cost, of 8, where this one, where you're like, oh, I can just get this out on turn 1, get my commander out on turn 3, and all of a sudden my commander is, what, a 14/14? Loses flying, who cares? I mean, you care a little bit if you have other things that grant flying, but yeah, you're pretty focused on the giant burst of power. So yeah, you're not looking to chuck this one at anything, really. You're just looking to cheat on that equip cost, and that can really help you out. Next up, Masterwork of Ingenuity, a crazy good card for this kind of a strategy. Equipment for 1, you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any equipment on the battlefield. That includes your opponents as well, but yeah, if you just need 2 giant things to chuck, awesome, or 2, colossal hammers where you're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, colossus hammer. Oh, and another one. Oh, my commander gets +20/+20. A goodbye, opponents. Next up, speaking of goodbye, Graphic Exoskeleton. You can go in this direction as well. +2/+2, and in fact, when it comes unattached, you have to sacrifice that permanent though, so do keep that in mind. So yeah, this is definitely one that you're not looking to unattach probably ever, except for like a game-ending situation, I guess. But being able to give your commander infect can be huge, because if you are chucking some massive pieces of equipment out there, maybe a damage doubler as well, you can like one-shot players just by chucking equipment, which can be absolutely huge. And again, one-shot players very easily in combat as well, since you are going to be coming through with that infect. And then, of course, Hexplate Wallbreaker, an amazing equipment for this commander. 5 mana in total in red for Mirrodin! Cool. You get a little 2/2. Nice. Equipped creature gets +2/+2. Whenever equipped creature attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap each attacking creature. After this phase, this will combat phase. Again, getting an extra combat trigger from your commander is amazing, is incredible, and of course, allows you to go back into combat, swing again with your massive commander. So yeah, you can Voltron win with this quite easily, with all the things that you're doing, and of course, cheating with your commander as well. And then also like other attack triggers that come in equipment as well that we talked about earlier, like the destroy target permanent when you attack. Cool. You're taking advantage of a lot of things with this. So yeah, extra combats. Of course, you've got a lot of effects in red. Not so many budget-friendly ones these days. Thanks a lot, Ishin, but still, make sure you take advantage of those. Next up, let's talk about some pricier cards to consider. And Braid of Fire, yeah, a card that when it was invented had a massive downside, and now it does not. So that's why it's incredibly expensive and very good. Gem for 2 mana, cumulative upkeep, add red to your mana pool. Back in the day, there was mana burn, now there is not. So there's no downside at all. So yeah, basically it builds up more and more and more and more mana for you. And by using that, you're going to be like, oh, okay, cool, I'll dump all this mana into, well, instant speed spells if I really want to, but also, hey, you know what? Yeah, that 3 mana activation for my commander, I get a lot of free activations thanks to this. You can chuck equipment here, there, and everywhere. Have fun with that. Next up, Stoneforge Mist, again, another amazing equipment tutor, a 1/2 that costs 2 mana. ETBs, go get an equipment card. You can also pay 1 and a white and tap this to cheat an equipment card from your hand onto the battlefield whenever you want. So yeah, being able to just utilize this again as a tutor and a way to cheat in some massive ones, again, those high mana value equipment can be great to get into play because your commander likes to chuck them. You actually can save a lot of mana with something like this, and again, a great tutor for you. Next up, Hammer to Dawn. Speaking of cheating, when this or another equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach to the equipment to target creature you control. +2/+0 has indestructible. Equip 4. So yeah, being able to just get this in play, protect your commander with it, and then ensure that every single time you've got equipment coming into play, they are auto-attaching to your commander. So you don't have to worry about paying those equip costs, and you can just save on that, and then utilize that mana again to chuck things, which then you can bring back to your commander when you get to combat. So yeah, this is a very, very good card for this commander. Definitely a card you want to consider. Next up, Stonehewar Giant, a 4/4 Vigilant Giant Warrior for 5 mana in white. Pay 2 mana, essentially tap search life for an equipment card, put on the battlefield, attach to a creature controlled in shelf of your library. This is a very, very, very good card. Again, cheating things out of your library right into play, attaching them right to your commander. This can be a game-changing, game-ending play for you. Speaking of which, Embercleave, yeah, Flash. That is huge for this card. Equipped for 6 mana, costs 1 less cast for each attacking creature you control. So if you're being aggressive in combat, this can cost just 2 mana. Enters attached to our creature control, ++1, double strike, and trample, all words you want to see. And also, again, a mana value that is quite high. So when you need to chuck this, you can for a good amount of damage. I mean, just think if you have a damage doubler, or we'll get to it here in a second, damage tripler as well. That's quite a bit, 12 or 18 damage in total. That being said, again, speaking of damage, if you have your commander at that glorious 11 power, that double strike will get you there for a one-shot KO on any player. And again, even if not, yeah, that trample will help you get a lot of damage through. Fairy Emancipation, yeah, this is a card I kind of referenced earlier. Enchantment for 6 mana in total. If a sorcerer control deal damage to a permanent player, deals triple that damage to that permanent player instead. Again, damage doublers, damage triplers help you out so much with this commander for, again, combat. Again, easy Voltron KOs. Yeah, you can really easily get there with a tripler. You just got to get commander to 7 power. That is super easy. And yeah, of course, when you're chucking those things, it just triples up the damage, making it an absolutely lovely thing to take advantage of. Excalibur sort of even a newer card as well to consider. 12 mana value for this equipment. That is huge. I believe that's the costliest equipment that we have. But yeah, being able to essentially say, you know what? Oh, okay, cool. This massive thing, I just chuck it at 3 targets. Awesome, good for me. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total mana value of historic permanents you control. So yeah, if you've got other legendary things in play, your commander, other legendary permanents, that's going to help out as well, obviously. +10/+10, and Vigilance. Equip legendary creature too, so it only costs 2 to equip. You could also cheat on that if you really want to with your commander, but still, yeah, being able to just turn your commander into a 2-shot KO at the very least, very easily into a 1-shot KO with a lot of other cards out there, any double strike, double damage, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, just being like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. Took you out with, Voltron commander damage. And you over there, what's your life total at? Oh, 20? Okay, cool. I've got a damage doubler in play. I'm going to unattach this and just chuck that at you. That is 24 damage. You are gone. Goodbye. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy things you can do with this one. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.